Good morning, everyone. This is Remy from Feedly. Thank you guys for joining the first live event we do. This is a pretty exciting time to be trying this out for us. So I'll just do a quick technical check to make sure the audio is fine and you guys can see my screen. If you guys have access to that chat box in YouTube, can you please just type in maybe the city you're calling in from? I see there's some Spanish comments. Just want to make sure that we have means of communication. ATL, nice, okay. NC, Italy, wow, okay. Argentina, Portland. Super, awesome. We might do that. Thank you, Nitesh. Alright, awesome, we have people from everywhere. Okay, this is becoming a little crazy. Hello, everyone. We're in Palo Alto, so welcome and hello from California. I'll give this about 30 more seconds before jumping in so we give everyone a chance to join in and get comfortable. Wow, this is amazing. Okay, this is another testament of how awesome the Feedly community is. You guys are all over the place. This is very exciting. All right. Okay, well, on that note, let's get started. We're going to try to keep this quick and super efficient for everyone. So again, my name is Remy. I'm the product manager at Feedly, and I'm super excited for today's event. It's Feedly's first live demo. So first of all, a big thank you for joining in and being part of it. A quick note on Q&A. We're going to be taking questions at the end of the demo and try to answer as many of them to make this as useful as possible for everyone. So if you have any questions or thoughts that come to mind on anything that you see, you can leave a comment in the chat box or submit them on Twitter. You can use the hashtag FeedlyBoards. And Peter and Emily on our side are going to be monitoring this and helping me out to then filter through questions later. So know that we have some room for questions. And I wanted to start by giving you guys a bit of background as to what brings us here today. And so the story is that about 6 months ago, we reached out to some 250 of our most passionate and avid users to try and understand how we could make Feedly more productive for them. And during these conversations, one of the consistent pieces of feedback we heard was around better saving and organizing content in Feedly. And on top of this, we started hearing feedback about how folks would like to be able to start annotate and share some content better with the rest of their teams, basically add context and turn the content to a better form of knowledge in their Feedly. So if you fast forward through 6 months of product design and development, we turned that feedback into a new concept called boards, which we announced last week. You might have seen an email about that. And today we're going to showcase specifically 3 new features in Feedly that touch upon boards. One is going to be saving articles to boards. 2 is adding annotations and highlights to your stories in Feedly. And 3 is going to be how to better collaborate using Feedly Team. So I'm going to switch over to my screen in a second to show you what boards look like and go through that quick demo. Again, it's going to be just a couple minutes for each of these 3 items. And again, as a reminder, there's room for questions, so feel free to use the chat boxes in YouTube. I see Peter and Emily responding to everyone, and we'll make sure to leave room for Q&A later. So let me switch over to my screen. Not the right one? Okay, this is better. All right. So the first piece of feedback we got from users is that there's something magical that happens when you discover a great piece of content in your Feedly. Maybe it's that one great article of the day or a topic you're really interested in that you want to follow. And for this sort of content, which is really valuable, being able to save those gems turns Feedly into a powerful tool where you can organize the best of the knowledge and the information you care about. Let me just X out of the blue banner. So if I take an example over here, let's say I'm scanning through my text section in Feedly over here, and this story comes up about Microsoft shutting down Vista. I can scan through it. And let's say this is a story I decide I want to save and refer to later because it taught me something or I don't want to forget it. What I can do is actually use that little star icon over here at the top. As you can see, if you hover on it, it's going to say Save to Board. If I click on the star icon, and since I don't have any boards yet, what this is going to prompt me to do is to create a new board, so we'll do just that. Let's say I want to save this to our tech gems. And I'm going to go ahead and click Create. What I'm doing here is creating my first Feedly board where I'm going to be able to organize and accumulate all the gems that I find, in this case that pertain to tech. So what you'll see is that this has created a new section on your left navigation bar with tech gems, which is going to include all of your saved article that you save to this board. This is how you save an article to a board. Very simple. Good to know. Anytime you want to create a board, using that star icon is going to let you create any board. You can do this directly from here, and you'll see all the boards that you've already created for quick access, and so you can save them. So let me share some tips about boards and some of the good examples and use cases we've seen around this to give you some ideas. Typically, boards are great to save content that pertains to projects you're working on. This could be a research topic, an area of interest, anything you're curious about, and basically you want to get better organized as to all the gems and all the great pieces of content you find on the web and on Feedly. And for those of you who rely on Feedly for work, boards are a great way to isolate and save the industry news or trends that you care about and that you need to remember or refer to later. A good example of this, the way we use it internally at Feedly, could be with the name of a client you follow, a partner you're working with, a product or technology you're interested into. So this is the first feature I wanted to showcase for you guys today, how to save articles of interest into your personalized Feedly boards. Let's move on to annotations and highlights. And to do this, I'm going to move over to my personal account. It's going to be a little easier to demo and a little more useful and interesting. So the second feedback we received from users is that it would be very useful to be able to annotate stories with personal insights and be able to highlight some of the most interesting passages in a story. Basically, to just add some context as to what makes a story relevant when you read through it. So we built two features to do just this. And I'm going to scan through my, let's say, content marketing section over here. And let's say this article from HubSpot over here, 6 websites, every growth hacker should bookmark. As I scan through this and realize that this is another very useful story, what I can do as a Feedly Pro or Feedly Team user, you'll see you've got a little box at the top that says Add Note. And what I'm going to be able to do here is basically leave a comment inside this box. So I'll do this right now because this actually is relevant for us. So I'll say, relevant for our web conversation next Monday. And here's a cool trick that you can actually use for this. I'm going to remove a typo. You can actually directly use the plus to mention someone via email and to actually ping them. What this is going to do, I'm going to send this over to Edwin and then CC Emily. What this is going to do is let you directly grab that article, insert your annotation that you're leaving on this, and basically ping those people via email. This will send an email directly. So I'm adding this note, and this was just saved over here. This is the first way you can add context to an article, using a little comment in annotation to explain what makes this relevant. So what you can do on top of this, since the idea of context was so important to all the users we spoke to, there's another feature we built in that lets you, again, give a better signal as to what makes this piece of content relevant. So let's say for us, in this case, this sentence in particular is what's relevant. I'm going to just click on the text. I'll do this once again so you can see how this works. I'm just going to select the text and then use the highlight button to leave a little highlight. This is a great way, again, to call the attention of yourself or of somebody else to what exactly in that piece is the relevant content that you want to save. So that's it. This is the second feature I wanted to show you guys today, the ability for users to add notes and highlights to the stories you save to your board. I'm going to go and save this to our marketing and growth board, for example. And now my story over here is going to be saved along with my notes and my highlights. Again, great way for you to add some context, add your point of view, what makes this story relevant for you and for anybody else who might be reading it. And I mentioned Feedly Team as I was doing this, so let me actually jump into the third piece of the demo, Feedly Team. This is based on the third big feedback that we received from users, being that it would be very valuable for people who rely on Feedly for work to be able to privately share some boards with some of their teammates or customers. So along with boards, we're also introducing a new plan called Feedly Team, which allows you to easily share some of your boards with your teammates and basically turn Feedly into a powerful collaboration tool for multiple users. So now that I'm in this team account, this is actually my account in Feedly, what I'll do is actually show you how this works. If I scroll over in the left navigation bar, you'll see over here at the bottom, I've got some team feeds and some team boards. These are private spaces where my teammates and I can privately annotate and share stories which are important to the success of Feedly. I'll give you guys one example of this. If I take, again, for example, that marketing and growth board that we have, this is where us at the team save all the content that pertains to those two topics. Things that are interesting for us as far as marketing and growth work. And what boards effectively allow you to do, as I scan through this, you can see this, is basically seeing an overview of my teammates, any of the notes and highlights they have added to the stories that they've decided to curate on that topic and save. I'm going to open, not this story which we just saved, but let's say the previous one, give you guys a peek as to how this works. And you can get maybe a sense of how this effectively becomes a way to get better at sharing knowledge and information among teammates for us. So this is an article that was saved by Edwin yesterday, and he left some comments on there, left some annotations. I jumped in and actually also left a comment to join into that conversation. So again, as you can see, this is where notes and highlights become very powerful when they're shared. They give you the opportunity to read into the insights of your teammates, and as a group, always be in sync on the topics that matter for you, for your team, for your company. Again, to give you some great examples of what we've seen teams do so far with boards, all across the board, there have been some really interesting use cases. A few of the really nice ones, there's in the information security world, teams will use boards to monitor and share some of the most important and timely vulnerabilities or threats or attacks that they find on the web. We've also seen marketing teams use Feedly for social selling, effectively curating content to save them into boards and empower their sales team to have a deeper market insight and overall just have smarter and better conversation when they connect with clients or prospects. Again, the message here is that team boards are a powerful way to simplify and improve your team communication for the content that matters to you and your team. They basically let you get rid of all those clunky email chains and spreadsheets that should contain the news that everyone should know about but nobody reads. And this was it. This was the third feature I wanted to showcase you guys today, the ability to commonly save important and actionable stories to a team board so that everyone in your company or organization can have access to it. So if I summarize, I showed you guys how you can use boards to save and organize the best stories you read in your Feedly, how you can use notes and highlights to add your insights, and how to use team boards to collaborate via Feedly Team. All of these features are available on the web and on mobile. There's one more thing. Another piece of feedback that we got from a lot of users was that they wanted to have the ability, when sometimes you find content that's outside of your Feedly when you're just browsing the web. I'll give you one quick example. Let's say I'm on TechCrunch over here. Users wanted to have the ability to, again, to take this story for an example. When you find that piece of content and maybe you're just browsing through the web, this becomes relevant to one of the topics you've organized within your boards. We've just released a new extension called Feedly Save to Board. You'll find it at all the app stores. It looks like this little star. Again, the star icon over here, Save to Feedly Board. I can click on this from the browser, and I'm actually going to save this to our product board. And this is going to take that piece of content, save it over here in your Feedly so that it's directly available for the rest of your team to see and share. And then same idea, you can add your annotations, add your highlights and comments. This is where you can add context to that piece of content. So in a quick conclusion, boards are joining feeds as the second foundation or pillar of Feedly. It was a great pleasure to work very closely with some of our most passionate users and think through all these features and polish them over time. We want to thank those guys for their input, and we look forward to seeing how everyone is going to take boards to do more with the content you read in your Feedly. So on that, I'm going to switch back over to the conversation side of things. Let me do some housekeeping. And let's see. I'm going to try to take some of the questions we have. So let me open up our Slack channel so I can monitor this. All right, we've got tons of questions. I'll try to take them in order. All right, so the first one is about, can I save a story to multiple boards? The answer is yes. Whenever you find a piece of content, obviously sometimes something is going to be relevant for not just one topic or area of interest. When you click on that little star icon again, you can save stories to multiple boards. So let's say if this was relevant to not only product, but also design, I could save it over here, and this has been now saved to 2 different boards. Question number 2. Aurora Kozimova, I'm sorry, I hope I'm not butchering your name too much, is asking, how many boards can be created with free accounts? The answer to that is for free accounts, you can create up to 3 boards. For all of the Feedly Pro and team users, there's no limits, obviously, on how many boards you can create. And so, yeah, 3 for free, unlimited for Pro and team. Let me just scan through the rest of the questions. Sorry, there's a lot of them. Let me scan through this. All right. Sorry, guys, I'm getting overwhelmed with the content. What's the difference between personal boards and team boards? Okay, great question. So this actually has to do with the different plans we're talking about. Feedly and Feedly Pro are individual plans where you can save content for yourself. Feedly Team is basically the collaboration version of Feedly, where you can have multiple team members join in and follow the same content together. So team boards are going to be content where multiple people in your organization that you invite to your Feedly account can save content, as you can see here. This was saved again by Edwin. And on the personal versions of Feedly and Feedly Pro, you'll be able to create boards for yourself. Okay, back to questions. Is there any way to auto-save articles or highlight articles based on keywords? By Irfan. Great question. This is something we're working on again. This is where it's super useful to get everyone's feedback actually on this. We have thought about this, auto-saving articles or highlighting articles based on keywords. We're working on something that goes along those lines. So you'll see some announcement around filters and some searches that you can save. The reason why we haven't pushed so too quickly for this at this point is that for a lot of folks, we call this the 2 level of curations within Feedly. You've got 1, you're basically organizing your content via feeds, and then 2 is going through that manual knowledge and human curation of knowing what's a relevant piece of content. That's actually a way to turn that giant noise or fire hose of content into more relevant signal. So for a lot of the teams, relying on a team of curators to save content is just a great way to make sure that the content that makes it to a board is the really relevant stuff. That's why I call these gems sometimes. It's really the kind of stuff you want to know about. Hope that answers your question, Irfan. Our boards, Jeff is asking, are boards only pro version? No, so boards are available for everyone. Again, this goes with there's only 1 limitation for free users. You can create up to 3 boards. And then Feedly Pro and Feedly Team users can create as many boards as they want. And also, obviously, that's where the collaboration side of things comes in handy. Bikes is asking, is it possible to share boards publicly? Very cool points. The way we've thought about this sharing for now is within the spectrum of a team, a closed environment. So when you save content to boards for now, that content is available to team boards if you create a team account and you invite people to join you within Feedly, creating that private space. We have not yet made boards publicly visible. It's definitely something we're thinking about, and also one of the reasons why it's great to put this out there and then see what you guys are coming up with or asking about. What else? David, I see we've got, okay, the chat is going crazy. All right, someone's asking, are stories saved to boards permanently? That's a great question. Let me actually show you this in the product. Yes, the answer is yes. When you save a piece of content to a board, obviously the idea is that you can see we've been using boards for quite a bit of time internally at Feedly, but over time this becomes a repository for all the knowledge and information you have around a specific topic. So some of the folks have been using boards for a very long time. We have users with thousands of pieces of content saved in here, and yeah, they get safeguarded in your Feedly. You can access them along with your notes and highlights. This is here to stay and remains in there. Okay, let me many ways to autosave. Share publicly. Oh, mobile. Great. Good point. Are boards and notes / highlights available on mobile? The answer is yes. You'll see this. I'm not going to show you the UI for this, obviously, over here, but you can. Everything you're seeing here is available also on Feedly Mobile. So you'll see that we've released the latest version of Feedly in the app stores recently with the announcement of boards last week. So yeah, the latest versions of Feedly will give you access to all of the highlights and boards on mobile. Let me check. Quick question. Sorry guys, this is a lot of information. This is a gold mine of content for us, so keep the feedback coming. Even if we don't get to your question right now, we'll try to do something to make sure that we address what you're bringing up. And okay, these are a good point. We'll switch back to Slack. Okay, I'm getting a little lost with all the questions that come in. I'm going to try to take one more in here, and then because I want to make sure we're mindful of your time. Thornley is asking about extensions. Follow this and save to boards are very useful. Yeah, awesome. Good point. Yeah, so the extension, you'll find them over in your Feedly, and you can also just search the app stores. Save to boards very useful. We have another one that is called Follow Feeds, which replaces, for those of you who have been around for a long time, we used to have Feedly Mini as an extension. Kind of the same principle. Follow feeds, we've split them into following feeds and saving to board to make them a little more powerful in what they do. Saving to board has all of that content extraction built in, so when you take a piece of content, we will basically run the readability extractor to make sure that we take that full article and then save it to your board. So again, the reason for this is this way all of the text and images from that article become available for you, and you can start highlighting, interacting with this content. And then the follow feeds extension is the one that's going to let you, whenever you're on a website, just directly click on this and find the feeds feeds or subfeeds that this website might have that you can add. Is there an API for boards, Rapshin? Yes, boards are available via API as well. The documentation is available on all over developer.feedly.com. And yes, boards have been updated to also be included in this. There's tons of, I'm not going into too much detail, but there's tons of great things you can do also with boards and some automation processes, whether it's via the API, as Rapshin is mentioning, or via tools like IFTTT or Zapier, which are great to automate, if I save an article to your board, then do something with that article. Let's go back to Slack. As you can see, tons of notifications. All right. I'll stop. It's been 20 minutes. I want to be mindful of everyone's time. This was a first for us. I hope this was an informative and useful session for everyone. If you've got any feedback on this, please keep it coming. You can use that hashtag FeedlyBoards on Twitter, or you can reach out to us directly. And very excited to see what you guys do with this. And any feedback that you have, keep it coming. We're always listening to user feedback. This is what drives product design at Feedly. This is how we develop this feature. Please keep us posted as to how you end up using boards, how you find it useful, what you would see as an improvement on this. And as for us, we'll be keeping you guys posted with a couple of other really nice updates we have coming up. So we look forward to maybe doing a couple more of these if this was useful, and then to be in touch with everyone. Have a great day from Palo Alto to everywhere in the world. Be well, and talk to you guys later.